Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's makeup look was inspired by a wedding I went to this weekend. I thought it would be fun to do a makeup look for a wedding guest or a bridesmaid. The makeup is accentuated enough to look good in photos, but not too much to upstage the bride. Let's get into the video. All right. We've had a lot of technical difficulties today trying to get this video going. I swear, Mercury retrograde is just, it's killing me. And if you can hear the bell in the background, that is Barnabas. Oh, hi, bud. To preface all of this, I went to a wedding this weekend and I thought it would have been a great idea to do sort of a wedding guest makeup. We had some friends that got married in the Central Valley. It was like a beautiful barn ceremony. The girl who was getting married, her family owns a farm, and so they had the wedding on their barn or their farm property, and it was so pretty. I'm not usually one for barn weddings, but it was a beautiful setup. They did a lot of work and it was really gorgeous, and they had a beautiful sunset that evening. So I just primed my lids with the MAC paint pot and Line Low. That one is my fave. So when doing bridesmaid, wedding guest, anything like that, you never really want to upstage the bride. I mean, I'm not here to do bridal makeup necessarily. I just want something accentuated that's gonna look good in pictures. So I went in for more of a bronzy makeup for the wedding, just something nice and light. So I'm going in with the Mcgrath bronzer in Nude Honey. This is a trick I do for pretty much all my clients. I usually always take the bronzer and put it in the crease, just sweeping that through. Just using a big fluffy brush, the Refer 15. Then I'm gonna take the Refer 14 and I'm gonna use the Mcgrath the Bronze Seduction palette. And I do not know the names of these, but I'm gonna take this matte shade right here. And I'm just gonna deepen up that corner. I'm really trying to build up that fold to kind of push that back. Taking that same brush, the Refer 14, and I'm gonna go in with this deeper shade from the Bronze Seduction palette. I'm just deepening that corner a little bit more. So I'm just going in with the Refer 15 and I'm just gonna blend those edges out just to soften it up a little bit. Now I'm gonna take that bronzer again on the same Refer 15 brush. I just wanna blend this a little bit more. We were really fortunate when we went to the wedding that my in-laws actually were right down the street. So we were literally able to stay at my in-laws' house and drive, I think it was less than 10 minutes to get to the venue. It was so convenient. Now I'm gonna take this sparkly shade. It's sort of a bronzy, gold, almost antique gold shade. I'm gonna use the Refer 28 brush and put that all over the lid. That's so pretty. I think this is one of my favorite shades from the Bronze Seduction palette. It is such a pretty antique gold color. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my other eye off camera and I'll be right back. So now that I have both eyes done, I'm just gonna go ahead and go in with a little bit of liner. This is the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner in dark brown. I'm just gonna shake this up. Just go in for a little bit of a wing, just keeping that wing pretty straight on my eye. I'm only bringing that in about halfway. On my eyelids, if I go in any further, usually it does transfer on my fold, so I have to be very careful when doing any sort of liquid eyeliner. I like the brown because it's softer. It gives you a little bit of something in the corner, but doesn't really overpower the look. I do want to smoke out the liner just a little bit, so I'm going to take that same dark brown eyeshadow from the palette and just on a small angled brush, this is the Sigma E65. And I want to soften this liner just a hair. Now going in with my Refer lash curler. I'm just gonna go ahead and curl my lashes. I am gonna wear lashes today, but I do want to give a nice little lift to my lashes. I religiously wear waterproof mascara, mainly because that's the only thing that holds my lashes up, but there is just something about weddings where I will bawl my eyes out. So also a good tip is to always use waterproof whenever you're going to any wedding if you're a crybaby like me. During the ceremony of the wedding I went to, they had the most magical barn owl that swooped down and it ended up going off into the distance. Like when they kissed, it almost seemed like a Disney like fairy tale. It was so cool. So I don't curl my lashes too much when applying like fake lashes, because for me, if they stick too straight up, I have a hard time applying lashes. So I just give them a little bit of a crimp on the base just to like help them kind of blend in with the lashes a little bit better. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my lashes and I'll be right back. Okay, lashes are on. These ones are the Menu Beauty. It's their Prefix 04, their assorted lashes. I basically took one of their like full strips of lashes and I cut it down about 3/4 just so I can do sort of almost like a corner lash. Pretty. I like these ones a lot. I like Menu Beauty because like their lash band is really thin and I almost don't even feel these most of the time. So now we're gonna go on to base. I'm gonna use the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk in 3.5. Just take 2 pumps of that and apply that all over. Being a makeup artist, I actually don't go to very many weddings usually, because normally I'm working someone else's wedding. Since I moved down to LA though, I haven't done too many weddings out here just yet, but I'm excited. I have a couple more coming up this year. And just taking a pawpaw sponge, blending this in, making sure to get rid of any excess foundation or like brush strokes. In truth, I barely remember my own wedding. The day was just, we were so excited for the day, but once it got there, it almost just feels kind of like a blur. I see pictures and stuff and I'm reminded of stuff that happens, but I try to think back of like little moments and I'm like, I barely remember it. I was just like so anxious throughout the entire day. I don't know, I barely remember it, honestly. I'm gonna take my Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer under the eyes. I like to go a little bit more glammy for weddings, especially because there's gonna be pictures and I always want to look nice. Just pressing this in. I'm gonna let that concealer underneath my eyes dry down a little bit. Now I'm just gonna take the Dior Forever Corrector in 2WO. My little red spots. My skin's doing pretty well right now, but just want a little bit more coverage right here. Just pressing this in. Now I'm gonna get under the eyes. You guys, my husband and I have been trying to film this video for like an hour and a half and we've had so many technical difficulties. I don't know what is going on right now. First we were having audio problems, then the computer didn't want to connect to the camera, so it has been a doozy. So I want to go in for a little bit more structure, a little bit more bronzy. So I'm gonna go in with the Nye Cream Stick in Olive 10. I'm just warming it up on the back of my hand. And I'm just gonna take an angled brush, something kind of dense. I really like the Sigma angled top kabuki brush. I think it's the F84. This brush is so old, the number actually wore off, so. I'm just stamping it on. I don't want to disturb any of the foundation that's underneath. Making sure to get right in the hairline because we don't want any gaps, especially since I wear my hair up usually for weddings because I mean, I like to dance. This is actually pretty much the same hairstyle I wore to last weekend's wedding. And take just a little pointer brush. This is the Spectrum KJH brush in 21. Taking that same contour. So just gonna go ahead and lightly shade down the nose. I keep the contour down the nose pretty minimal because there is nothing worse, in my opinion, than seeing 2 stripes down the nose. And it's such a dead giveaway too, so I like to make mine very subtle. One more blend can never hurt. So now I'm gonna go in with the Rare Beauty Liquid Blush in Happy. Just gonna apply this onto my wrist, just to kind of warm this up. Really making sure to prime. I'm using the same brush as the contour. I just wanna marry all this together. Keeping that blush nice and high. I'm making sure to stamp this on because I want to make sure that I'm not really disturbing any of the foundation, any of the concealer that we already put so much work into. Ugh, I love me a glowy cheek. So now I'm just going to take the Givenchy pink powder again. I like this powder, but it's so messy. And the fragrance is quite bothersome. and just a little cheapy little powder puff, cheap ones from Amazon. I'll make sure to link it down below, but I do like these a lot for getting right underneath the eye. Since I am more combo, I do tend to get pretty oily down my T-zone. So for me, a big concern is I always want to make sure that my makeup is going to last. And so I have to make sure to set everything really well. Taking the Givenchy powder and pretty much putting it all down my T-zone. And I'm just going to take the MAC Studio Fix Pro Set and Blur. And I'm going to use that to set the rest of my face. I'm just going to use the My Kitco 0.11S brush. I'm going to use that to set the rest of the face. Usually I would take powder and foundation and everything and bring it all the way down to make sure everything is covered, but I mean, let's be honest, I'm probably just gonna wash this off afterwards because it is very late. It is 9:45 now. It's been a trying day. So I'm gonna go back in with that bronzer that I used in my crease earlier, the Pat McGrath in Nude Honey. Just gonna take my brush, the Samey 2.1, just add a little bit more bronze to the perimeter. Now I'm going to take the Dior Backstage Glow Face Palette. I'm just going to take these two sort of shimmery shades, the lighter ones on top. And just a little brush. This is the Refer 16. Mix those two together. Put that right on the cheekbone. I have been obsessed with this palette. It gives such a pretty glow. Putting that also in the inner corner, just to give a little bit more brightness. I'm gonna take that same brush that had the blush and bronzer on it, and I just wanna tap that. Just any sort of residual blush and bronzer, tap that right on top. And one more thing I wanted to add to the cheeks. I'm just gonna take the Wayne Goss 14 brush and the Hourglass blush in Sublime Flush. I'm just lightly going to tap that right on top. Oh, so pretty. This has become one of my favorite blushes right now. It gives such a pretty flush. There's something about Hourglass products, I think, that do just something special to the skin. They never seem to pick up, you know, any blemishes, any fine lines. They really just blur and add such a pretty sheen. Ah, love it. So now I'm gonna go in for brows. I just got a new brow product too that I wanted to use. I got this actually the day before the wedding last weekend. It's the Fluff Up Brow Wax from Benefit. So I'm just gonna take the Dior Brow Styler in black and just fill in my eyebrows like I normally would. I'm gonna take special care though with the tails, since that's where I have the least amount of hair. So my brows went a little crazy, so I'm gonna do that same hack for my lips. I'm just gonna do the same thing for my brows, or take a little bit of my foundation and a little flat synthetic brush. Just clean up underneath the brow. Perfect. So I'm gonna go in with the Benefit Fluff Up Brow Wax. You definitely get a fluffier brow versus the Benefit, I think it's the 24-hour brow setter, because that definitely gives you more of that like laminated look, which there's a time and place for. But it's definitely more of a gel, while this one is more of a wax. I haven't quite figured out which one I prefer personally. So brows are done. I really do think I like the Fluff Up Brow Wax from Benefit. I think I need to use it a couple more times before I make a final decision on it, but I'm liking it so far. So now we're just gonna move on to lips. I'm gonna use the iconic Nude from Charlotte Tilbury. I am not the greatest at touching up my lips regularly, like during a wedding, because you're eating and drinking and you're having fun. The last thing I wanna do is touch up my makeup. So I always need something pretty easy. Put the lip liner all over. And now I'm just gonna take Brat from Vive Cosmetics. I've been really liking this color a lot. I'm gonna take that synthetic brush again with a little bit of foundation that I used to clean up under the brows. Clean up my lip line just a little bit. and top it with a little bit of gloss. This is Tower 28 Almond. And there you go. This is the final look. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everyone.